So you think you've broken free. They think you have moved on. Or some of you believe that the narcissist is going to forget about you. And there's a 60% chance that perhaps maybe they have and they've moved on with somebody else. Maybe you've moved on. But here's the thing. The messages start. The accidental run-ins, the likes on social media. Maybe you see them watching your story. What on earth is going on? Well, my friends, if this sounds like this is happening to you, then this video, my friends, is for you. Hello, my friends. I hope that you're all doing really well. So today I really wanted to talk about moving on. Narcissists, what happens to them, what happens to you, what's going on. And I feel like this could really help you to understand the aspect of the psychological reasons or the psychological processes that are going on for the narcissist. There's one main thing in this, and I'm going to talk about this more in the video. This is all about something called an attachment disorder. And there are many kind of intricate workings in this. So I'm going to really talk about it a lot more in this video. I'm going to walk you through the steps. I'm going to talk about it because I feel like, so many of us think that just because we're not with that person, we're not with the narcissist, that they are going to forget about you, that they are going to just let you go. And a lot of them, you're probably like screaming at the screen going, Anushka, like they have moved on and they are with somebody else. Yes, this could be that. Yes, they probably do have somebody else or multiple people, but have they forgotten you? There's a few reasons why this happens, and this is what I want to talk about in this video. So the first thing that I really want to talk about is the illusion of possession. Okay, and this feeds into what I was saying earlier about the attachment disorder. A narcissist doesn't see you as an equal partner. They see you as supply, a source of attention, very much something that is detached from themselves. Basically, just to say it like this, you serve a purpose. You serve a purpose to the narcissist. So you are very separate to them, even though you're not, but you're an object. You're on the outside. There is, oh gosh, maybe I should mention this here. And this is the reason why there isn't that connection to you, so to speak. Because if there was connection, if there was an attachment, if there was a bond, they wouldn't treat you like this. And you also wouldn't be going through this. You basically wouldn't be watching videos on narcissism or trying to find out what on earth is going on. And this all leads to one thing, is that they see you separate. They're not connected to you. And I know that for some of you, this could be quite difficult to understand, but from a psychology perspective, this is called an attachment disorder. It's very much, it's different to avoidant attachment style. They see you as separate. There is no connection to you. Now, if there's no connection to you, there's also no connection to themselves, meaning that they don't really understand themselves, which is why you find that they behave and act like other people. Sometimes, not all of them. A lot of them try to fit in. And they do this especially because they want to be liked. They want to please. They want to fit in. They want you to like them. They want you to fall in love with them and not leave them. But remember, you are serving a purpose. You are all about giving them attention. You're about giving them supply. You're about giving them validation. So you're very much separate from them. They are the main character, you supply. And yeah, I know this is very different to what used to happen right at the beginning of the relationship, right? But this is all about validation. This is all about them controlling that. That meaning what you give them. Validation, your attention, your emotion, you making them feel good. That's the supply, and that's what they're trying to control, okay? And in some cases also your free will. So when you walk away, when the relationship ends, because remember the narcissist never wants to get to this point, when you leave, you're cutting off that supply, the validation, the attention, the ability of them to be able to control you. So it's not you as a person, you're cutting off something that they need, something that they want. So that's why they're going to fight tooth and nail, so to speak, to make sure that you never leave, which is why you are always in this trap, this illusion. That's what's really going on in this whole scenario. And here's the twist. Oh yes, there's a twist. In their mind, you're not allowed to stop being their supply because they control the narrative. They've invested time in training you to respond, to be hooked, to be on call. So you think they're going to let that go? They've invested time in you. And that creates this unspoken contract. Once you sign it, one you never signed and never fully existed, but they think it does. So let's talk about the psychological trap in all of this. This isn't about romance. This isn't about a relationship. Remember what I was saying, you're very much separate from the narcissist. And this creates this object constancy. That means that when you're out of sight, you're emotionally gone for them, which triggers abandonment and panic. And that panic is what makes them test you to see whether you still belong to them. You might notice sudden texts. They're probably going to be very reminiscent about your relationship, about your experiences, what you used to have. They're going to try and reel you in with reminiscence, the kind of like the things that you should have, would have, could have had, or the things that you did have. The jealous posts, accusations or guilt trips. They might not always be nice. They might sometimes be nasty. Or there might be the fake emergencies to try and pull you back in. And these aren't random. If you look at it, if you really think about it, all of these are done so they evoke an emotional reaction from you. And this emotional reaction is very important because it then signals or tells the narcissist, indicates to the narcissist, how much you actually care about them. Do you actually care about them? Is there anything there? That's how they know whether you still care about them, whether there is something that is worth going back for. These are subconscious control probes. They're probing you. They're trying to press your buttons to see how you react emotionally. And from that reaction, they can tell how you feel about them, whether you've forgiven them, whether you're still upset with them, whether you're still willing to be in this kind of dynamic. I'm purposely not using the word relationship here. These are all tests. So be aware that when you hear back from them, or when you see that like on your posts, remember, this isn't random, this isn't by accident, this is done especially, and it's orchestrated so that it evokes an emotional reaction from inside of you. This all tells the narcissist how and what you are feeling. This phenomenon exists. So why do they come back when you are healing? First of all, your energy changes. You know why? Because you take the energy away from them and you put it back on yourself. That's why. You are completely different. You have changed. You might not think you have, but they notice, they know. They know that you have changed. Your energy has changed. You're not the same person you were before. And that's the psychological sting for the narcissist. They can't bear that. They can't understand that. Because remember, they believe that they own you, that you belong to them, like a possession, like an object. Narcissists are addicted to power and your imbalance. So when that scale is tipped back in your favor, they can't understand it. They can't deal with it. They'll often reappear, not to love you, but to see whether you will go into this dynamic again, to see whether they can still have some sort of ownership over you. Yeah, this isn't about love, because if they loved you, my friends, if this was about love, then you wouldn't be here. You would not be watching this video. This isn't about love. This is all about testing you to see whether they can still have that hold over you. And so many of us go running back. And that's not a judgment. That's not me saying like, oh, you know what? Oh, you're so bad for doing that. No. It's because we want it so much. We love them. Like at the end of the day, when you love someone, you want to be around them. You don't want them to leave your life. And also a lot of us don't get closure, so we're looking for the answers. You're not going to get answers. Just because time has passed doesn't mean that they have evolved or matured. It doesn't mean that. They will still continuously do what they're doing. And it's not going to change. You're not going to get the answers that you want. And so when they're doing this in a moment of panic because they know that you have gone. They know that you're moving on. So they're trying to reestablish control over you. That's ultimately how this is happening. And in psychology, this is called narcissistic supply panic. This is when someone panics out of fear because they're losing something that they thought they had, but they don't. So they're putting all their energy and effort into trying to pull you back into this dynamic. My friends, if any of this is resonating with you, please know that I do offer one-to-one consultations. Please see the description box below for more details. So how do you break this cycle? What do you do? It is a really difficult one. And again, there's no judgment. I think we all get to a threshold. I think that's what really happens. I think that's where we kind of understand this, and that's why we've left in the first place. That's why we're moving on. We realize that this person is no good for us. I think what we have to do here is stay consistent in no contact or low contact. I think that's what needs to happen, because it's not about, like, you've got to understand this is not about serving them. Your life isn't about serving another person. Your life belongs to you. And once you've realized who they are, you're not going to get the answers that you are looking for. That is just not going to happen, because these people do not want to hold themselves accountable. They just don't want to do that. And they're never going to do that. You're not going to teach them this lesson. They're not going to be accountable, because that's just who they are. You've got to recognize that every reappearance is a test. Think about it. Why are they reappearing? Why didn't they just stay in the first place? Why didn't this just work in the first place? Why? Because they can't do this. They have issues with interpersonal relationships. That's why this couldn't work. Because if it's all down to control and manipulation, how can a relationship like that work? It cannot. It cannot sustain the test of time, because the two of you are on two different pages. And also, they have got an attachment disorder. So this is not going to work ever. And that is something that they can't articulate or ever tell you. But this is the closure. They're a narcissist. You know, the push and pull. If someone loves you, they're never going to leave you. They're never going to put you in a position to lose you, because they cannot live without you for one day. And I know that is hard-hitting and hurtful, but it is the truth, my friends. If this has hit home for you, please let me know in the comments how you have handled it, because remember, the comments, I do read them. And also, it is really important, and there's a lot of other people within the community do gain a lot from the comments. So do, if you want to, put your comments in the section below. Guys, if you haven't already, I hope that you can subscribe to the channel. I hope that you have liked this video. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up. So please know that you don't have to fight this battle alone. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope to hear from you. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.